Here's exactly why you are not meant to be a real estate investor. Really common mistake that people have when they get into real estate is they feel that they can do everything on their own. They don't need this, they don't need this, I can handle it, I'll do all of it. And that exactly is the reason why a lot of people should not be getting into the game. So one of the first things that you know that is a mistake is they don't hire a project manager or they don't hire a contractor to do their work. A lot of people think, well, I don't want somebody to steal my money and I don't want them to run off with it. Well, that's a really poor mindset. Because first of all, you don't know what it takes to actually renovate a property. And if you are someone that does understand what it takes to renovate a property, you'll understand the power in having a project manager and in having a contractor. Now, something that you hear me talk a lot about on this channel is specifically what happens when you put money down when it comes to getting a contractor. But if you buy all of your own materials, then you don't have to worry about that because you're just paying the labor. With that being said, now is the perfect time to bring on a contractor and bring on a project manager, because they'll be the eyes and ears for you and they will be the feet on the ground that you otherwise think you're capable of doing, which in reality, I can tell you right now, if you are a rookie investor, you are not capable of doing. And the reason why you're not capable of doing it, one, is because not only do you not have the know-how, but many of you are still working your W-2 jobs. Nothing wrong with that. I would highly encourage you to stay with your W-2 jobs, but it's very difficult to manage the renovations of a project, making all the decisions that are relating to what it's going to need and be fixed up to an extent that makes it marketable. And also you're going to have to think about all the things that you're going to be doing, all the auxiliary paperwork, all the time that's going to be required from making phone calls, following up with people, making sure someone's on the job site. Are they locking up at the end of the day? All of this goes into renovating a property that a lot of people don't consider when they go into buying their first real estate investment. So if you are someone who is looking to get into real estate investing, or if you're someone who believes that you're capable of doing it, I can't stress the importance enough of having a project manager. Another thing a project manager is going to do for you is they're going to use their experience to come up with and outline all of the things that you're just not even considering. Some of these things you won't even realize until it actually happens in that moment. For instance, how's everybody going to get into the property at different times of the day? Did you think about having a lockbox with a key on it? Or were you just going to show up at the house every single day, open the door, and then lock it at the end of the night? Not saying that it is impossible, but it is highly unlikely that you'll be able to manage all of these people and still work a job and everything else that you're doing at the same time. So having that project manager and having that contractor there who is your eyes and ears for the property is going to be incredibly important. Now, if you think you are someone who's capable of doing it, no problem. But you also need to recognize that if you are a rookie investor, you better be prepared for all the mistakes that you are going to make and all the money it's going to cost you with all of those costly mistakes that you are expecting to make or that you are going to make. So here's an example of one of these that came from a student of mine who looked to do their very first property, and they were like, you know what, I can do it, I can manage, I can do everything on my own. Okay, no problem. Let's see what you're capable of doing. Well, first day on the job, she totally forgot about having a lockbox. So she went there, she opened up the house, had it opened for the contractors who were going in, forgot to lock it at the end of the day, and she actually had her property burglarized. So somebody came in, they stole all of her material. Thankfully, they didn't vandalize the place, they just stole the stuff that was there, so she was able to buy it back. But one of the issues, because she wasn't there to actually be the eyes and ears, someone did manage to come in, they took her material, and they went into the house and they took the copper out of her AC unit. So these are some of the things that you're going to be facing. Now, are you prepared for all of them? Because there are extensive and there are a number of challenges that you're going to face outside of just someone vandalizing or burglarizing your place. You just need to be prepared for that. So if you are someone who is looking to do some real estate investing and you are considering doing it yourself, let me tell you from personal experience, it's best to have that project manager or that contractor in place so that now you can focus your time and efforts doing something else. Another challenge that I see, and the reason why a lot of people should not be real estate investors, is because they don't know how to keep it simple. And one of the big challenges with that is that they want to try to do everything that's going to make it look like the Taj Mahal inside their shitty little rental. Well, you're not trying to do that, because here we're trying to make money. And when we're flipping houses, we're also trying to make money. And the way that we do that is if we have a budget and we keep shit simple. Some of the thing that drives me absolutely crazy when rookie investors get into their properties and they just want to like, oh, I want to do marble countertops and I want to put gold faucets and I want to do all this shit that would not actually help the bottom line of the project or increase the value of any dollar amount that they will see a return on it. Instead, the best thing to do is to actually consider what does the rest of the neighborhood have and how can I make my house look just a little bit better than the rest of the neighborhood that's around me. If you go and approach it with this mindset as opposed to Taj Mahal everywhere, you're actually going to have more money in your pocket at the end of the day, and you're also going to not have all the headaches that you're going to have if you try to do too much. Listen, if I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to myself from firsthand experience, because I can give you an example of a house that I did. Maybe some of you have seen it, which was season 2 of this particular channel, in which I was flipping a house and I added a bathroom and I added a bedroom, and they look great. I'm not gonna lie, I think objectively they turned out wonderfully. But something that I did not consider is how much time, how much energy, how much auxiliary costs come into adding all that. The permit process, all this shit that I was not considering that is equally as important as just keeping the house very simple from the very beginning, leaving it as, I believe, a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and just fixing it up, making it look nice, and then putting it right back on the market. I do believe had I would done that, I probably would have had about the same amount of profit, maybe even if it's a little bit less or a little bit more, but close to what I actually ended up selling it for and making it. If I would have kept it simple, then I wouldn't have run into all the time delays, all the opportunity lost, because now if I would have taken that money cashed out earlier, I would have had another property to invest in that I might have finished in the time frame that it took me to do this one house all the way from start to finish, right? These are some of the challenges that you face when you don't keep things simple. So one of the best things that you can do, like we all heard in school, give it a kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. I can't stress that enough. For all people who are looking to get into real estate investing or who are rookie investors and you've only done a handful of deals, keeping it simple is going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself. Something that my mentor always used to tell me is that you cannot argue with completion. And I love that statement for the simple fact that when you get to the end, even if you don't like it, but it's done, you can at least check it off of the list. And usually when it comes to keeping things simple and checking things off the list, it's because you went through the entire process of what you need to be done in your house. You've gone through it in detail. You look to see what it needs in the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, the living room. You've made sure you've hit all those items. And as each one gets checked off, it's one less thing to have to worry about. Best way of keeping it simple, as opposed to the investor who is like, man, I would love to do crown molding. I would love to do this kind of baseboard. I would love to do doors that are a little bit heavier and they're more expensive, and a more expensive this and a more expensive that. All those things do is just add more time and energy. Now, if you're someone who adds a bedroom or a bathroom, there are benefits to those things when you add them, because you essentially can increase the amount of value that you've put into the property for the simple fact that now it has more bedrooms and bathrooms, and that's how we add value. But sometimes time that is also going to create just as much savings on the front end if you don't go through the time of spending it on the back end, which leads me directly into my next point, which is speed is absolutely everything. Now, when it comes to speed, something that you really want to do is that you want to make sure that you get your property under contract and completed with the time frame and budget that you have in mind. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you control all of your costs on the way. And the way that you control all of your costs on the way is that you just make sure you check them off faster. The longer things wait, the longer things take, the more money you end up spending in the end, because you're on there the impression that, oh, it's not done yet, I still need to do this. Oh, that's not done yet, I still need to do this. Kind of goes back to my last point, which my mentor kept emphasizing, right? You cannot argue with completion. So if you do something, you finish your counters, but let's say your backsplash right now is just the drywall and it hasn't even been tiled. Even if it's not tiled, that kitchen technically is in a state of completion. And if at worst case, you get through everything else and you're out of time, you're out of money, at least you can say, well, the kitchen is done, even though it doesn't have a backsplash. And some people might be thinking, well, how do you sell a kitchen but it doesn't have a backsplash? Well, that's not something that's necessary for the sale of the property. Will it help? Of course, but it doesn't interfere with completion because it is already in itself a state of completion. So If you guys are looking to speed up your properties, speed up the amount of time that you're spending doing your rehabs, that's only going to benefit you because you're going to have more money for you to use on another property. Now, why do I say you're going to have more money? Well, if you think about it, if I bought a property in January, I finished renovations by March, and I have it sold and I get the cash in hand by June, well, imagine if I didn't get it sold and completed that fast. And let's say I got cash in hand in August, but a property came up in July that I would have loved to buy, a home run of a deal. One of those deals that come up once every 6 months, which they do, and you realize that in that moment you could have bought it had you have had the money. So as opposed to the single investor who has one property, or the mom and pop who just want to sell one house, they can hold out for the price because they're not necessarily investing in a real estate business. So as opposed to some people who have a different kind of business that use a car wash, for example, right? Where washing cars is their business, real estate for us is our business. Same way a clothing store, clothes is their business. We're just using real estate and all the properties that we buy and all the rentals that we create to create a business off of it. So if you're looking to finish a property faster and you get to the finish line that much sooner, that allows you to have more money and more opportunities that you would have to wait on if it takes you longer. So speed, getting to the end, completing it, getting through everything in a really, really fast time frame is a big stress that I want to make sure I put on all of you today. The next one I want to get into, and the reason why a lot of you are not considered real estate professionals, is because you still work your W-2 job. But I'm going to go against the grain here and tell you that you should not quit your W-2 job, because by keeping your W-2 job, two things very important happen. One, it forces you to hire other people to take care of tasks that you would otherwise try to do yourself. Again, if I'm not speaking to anyone else behind this camera except for myself, because this is something that I would do for a long time, and I try to do everything. And you know what, Jay, I can do this and I can do that and I can save money here and I can do this here. And that's one of the challenges that I've had to face not having a W-2, is that because I have the time and energy, I feel that I can do it, as opposed to the person that has a W-2 job who knows that they need to hire a project manager, they need to hire a contractor, because there's no way for them to be able to accomplish all those tasks on their own, unless they're just absolutely nutty, which more than likely, if I had a W-2, I would probably try to do that too in the very beginning. But for all the people out there who are W-2 workers and you're trying to do too much and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do everything on your own, stop it. The first thing you need to do is make sure you get that project manager, get that contractor involved, because if you can do that, you can save time and you can continue working your job, which is going to benefit you for the second reason, which is you're now going to have some regular income that's going to help offset all of your bills, your gas, everything that you would have to continue to pay, even if you were trying to renovate properties on your own. One of the biggest challenges that I face in real estate is that I continued for many years trying to do everything, trying to make sure that I can get through the end of a property, get it sold, and get cashed out so I can move on to the next one. Well, here's the problem with all that. You're not going to get cashed out in a week. You're not going to get cashed out in a month or 2 months. It's going to take you several months from the time you sign it to the time you close on it. So that means that you've got 4, 5, 6 months of zero income. You still have bills that are due every month. You still have gas you need to buy every couple days, right? You still have everyday and monthly expenses that are going to take a toll on your budget and on your bank account. And unless you have some other income that's coming in to be able to support or offset all of those additional costs that you have to worry about when you have to buy paint and drywall and everything else that goes into renovating a property, you're going to be faced with a really big challenge. And that challenge is going to come where you look up and you're like, why do I have no money? I've got real estate, I've got properties, and I've got nothing to show for it. And I can't tell you how frustrating that is. So all of you that are working W-2 jobs, keep working your W-2 job. And the way that you get out of it is when you continue to buy rentals, have them take over the amount of money that it takes you to survive. Right? Everyone should know that number. If it costs you $6,000 is the total amount of money that you need to live your life, then that $6,000 mark is what you need to do in all of your real estate endeavors so you can cover that cost. And the only way you're going to cover that cost, right, is through W-2, any other additional income or rentals or some other means of income to offset that number. So if it takes you 10 properties, 20 properties to reach $6,000, now is the time you can actually quit your job because you've had something else make up for the income that was doing it for you. So Another really big stress that I want to make sure I really emphasize in this video: do not quit your W job, because that right now is the one thing that's helping you keep all the money in circulation. The last thing I want to point out in this video is that you don't get paid on payday, which another reason why a lot of real estate professionals, I tell them that they're not in real estate or they shouldn't be in real estate, because they hear payday and they're like, Cancun, absolutely not. All that money is gonna do is go right back into the business. It's gonna pay another mortgage. It's gonna cover more material that you need for the roof that you gotta replace, those windows that you need to redo, that driveway that's messed up, that bedroom that needs the floors redone, that room that needs repainting. All of that payday money that you're like, man, I can't wait to this and then I can go here. Absolutely not. You're gonna find that even in real estate, no matter what the business is, but especially in real estate, you're gonna get a little sum of money, and that money is just going to go right back into the business. It's going to go right back into the next property. And the only way to really offset that is what I just brought up in the last point, is that you're going to need that W-2 income. You're going to need some money regularly that can help you so that you can make it through your day, your week, your month. And the way that you do that is allowing yourself to save that W-2 income to pay out all your bills. Anything left over, save it. Do not go out and buy a bunch of bullshit, right? Save that money. Now, when you cash out in your real estate and you flip a house, you could take that money, apply it to the next property, or use it to now do your next rental. I think a lot of people hear about payday in real estate and they see these big ass checks and they're just like, damn, I want that for myself. Man, I can buy my car. Man, I could buy this thing. I've been doing real estate a number of years, and I'm making hundreds of thousands of years. And I say that not as a flex, but I say that to say at the end of the day, all that money just goes right back into the business. And then you look up and you're just like, damn, I really don't have a whole lot left over, right? And the reason why a lot of that is not left over is because if you want to grow a business, if you really want this thing to become a real big behemoth, a Goliath of a company, you're going to need that money to go into it. Now, if I were to quit real estate today and I would say like, okay, let me cash out, sell up everything and put it in my pocket, I'd be doing very, very well. And I pretty much could retire for the next several years. Not forever, but I could take a long break, several years. But I'm not willing to do that because the game is about growing something so that it can now feed myself and my family for many years, many generations to come. And the way that you do that is not by taking your money and go buying frivolous bullshit with it. Not the latest iPhone, the coolest new car. Instead, you invest that money into the business so that that business can grow. And over time, that business can now provide you all those toys that you would love to have. So, for all of you that are looking to get into real estate investing, and for those of you who are in real estate investing and you have this really big misconception as to, oh, I'm going to buy this and that with all my money and my payday, you couldn't be more wrong. And I would even argue that if you do get those paydays and you're willing to delay that gratification for a longer period of time and put that off, that you'll actually be better in the long run and you'll have more money to play with when that time actually comes. If you guys got anything from this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.